Well, welcome back to another episode of 0 to 60, and today's the episode where I get the leak down test done on the E90 engine. Now I'm going to do the E90 engine first because it is the healthier of the two, and just to give anyone a recap that doesn't know what's going on, that is my lovely E92 over there, which about 2 weeks ago I noticed developed a misfire at idle. It was like a lumpy idle. Did a compression test on it and realized that cylinder 4 was down to 100 psi, where the other cylinders are around 190 to 195. So we've got an issue with cylinder 4 on that engine. Because I'm such a genius when it comes to cars, I bought an E90 crashed vehicle about a month ago, thinking that I'm going to have problems with my E92 at some point in time. However, luckily for me, the E90 engine got it out the car last week, ready to go into the E92, and it's also down on compression on cylinder 4. But it's only down to 150 on cylinder 4, where the others are, from memory, 185 to 195. So luckily I have two N54s with cylinder 4 compression problems. I know, I'm just so lucky. Yeah, basically this one only being down that 35-40 psi over the other cylinders on cylinder 4, I'm hoping that it's something simple. Now, a lot of you guys did mention similar situations where you can have a stuck ring, intake valves being blocked up, and I'm just hoping, and when I say intake valves being blocked up, I mean from like carbon build-up. I'm really hoping that that is the case with this engine. So that's what I really want to try and work out, if it is going to be that today. And if it is, it means I can get it into the E92. There were actually two people that commented, at least two people commented. They had a similar situation where they bought a second-hand engine. One of the cylinders was down on compression. They put it in the car and then ended up coming good over a couple of weeks. So hopefully that's going to be the case with this, and it's just because it's been sitting and there's just something weird going on with it. Now, I did start it up the week that I got that parts car. I only ran it for about 10 seconds because the oil cooler was split and it was peeing oil out. But yeah, it was idling fine. The engine actually sounded really, really good when I started it up, and it's done about 120,000 kilometers, so it's a relatively low kilometer engine. Hopefully, this low cylinder 4 issue is just a result of it being sitting, and it's just a stuck ring or something. So we need to get on with the leak down test. Now, it has actually taken me a bit longer to get this ready to do this video than anticipated. I was hoping to do it early next week. This actually arrived last Friday. And originally I was just going to borrow a compressor from a mate, but I know these come on sale on Saturday for 160 bucks, so I've grabbed a small portable compressor. It's probably not going to be good for much, like an air tool, but hopefully it's going to be fine for what we do around here. So yeah, I have filled this one up with lots of tape to sort out all the leaked areas. Now, this is a cheap eBay kit. Now, I'm sure they're not the most accurate things in the world, but it looks very similar to the Harbor Freight ones. And I did read on one of the N54 forums that the Harbor Freight fittings don't actually fit into the N54 cylinder heads. They're just too bulky. So I have ground that one down, and I did start to screw it in before, so I know that this one's going to fit. Guys, I think we just need to get on with it and hopefully work out what's causing that low compression right now. Okay, so let me get you guys set up so you can watch what's going on the lovely tripod. So first thing we need to do, we need to get cylinder 4 to top dead center. I'm going to do that with a screwdriver for now. So that will be the first thing we need to do. Okay, that screwdriver is touching the top of the piston, and I've just got a ratchet on the crank. Yeah, it moves nicely. Oh, that's it, that's top dead center. I might do a complete rotation. Piston's gone away. Almost feel, oh, there it is. Okay, now I did a complete rotation. We do need to make sure that we are doing the test on the compression stroke, and I don't actually have a way of testing that, so we'll just see what the results get and go from there. So that's top dead center. Let's get the leak down tester plugged in. So we'll slide that down into the spark plug hole, get it threaded. Hope you guys can see. And that's the leak down tester there. I've got the oil cap open because I'm assuming it's going to be rings, and we should hear the air come out of the oil cap. Should. If it is rings, that is. Okay, so that's that there. Now from what I understand, we need to set the leak down test. I've never done a leak down test before. It's good that this is already leaking. Quality equipment. Oh, that's really shit. I don't know if you can hear it, but the fitting is leaking. Aha, seal that fitting up. It was just loose, okay. So, what we need to do is set it to 0. Oh, too far, bugger. Let's bring it back a bit. Just release that pressure. Okay, the leak down tester is set to, let's try and get it right. Okay, it's as close as it's going to be to 0. I'm going to put the ratchet back on the crank, just so we can keep an eye on the, well, you won't be able to see, but I'll be able to keep an eye on if the air actually turns the engine over. So now we should be able to connect this up and it should tell us how much leak down we got. That's 20% leak down. And I can hear air going into the engine. I can hear it in the rocker cover, but it doesn't. I'm just trying to block the oil cap off. Doesn't really make any difference. That is, I mean, it's a very low amount of pressure that's going in, which is bizarre. So what happens if we increase the amount of air pressure? I mean, the leak down now isn't relevant, but I want to hear where the air's coming from. Okay, it's not coming out the oil. Maybe it's coming out of here. I can hear a little bit coming out of the cylinder, out of the spark plug hole, but I've just tightened that up. I'm gonna go, I'll check the intake. Hopefully, I've got the mic on, so you should hear it. I'm blocking off where the throttle body would be. It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't seem to be coming out the intake or the oil fill, the oil cap. Oh, it's coming out of the exhaust. Okay, try and show you guys. Why is it coming out of the exhaust? Oh, that scared the hell out of me. I'll let that charge up and then I'll show you guys again in a second. Okay, well, I've let that compressor charge up again and I'm getting a bit weirded out because, like I said, I've never done a leak down test before, but I'm pretty sure the gauges are both supposed to zero out, where the leakage gauge only goes to 40. So I've just released all the pressure, and if I wind it on with a complete leak down, like we've got the hose completely open, it doesn't go below 40, so I think this is faulty, which is awesome. But yeah, please let me know, because I'm pretty sure that should be 0 from what I read about doing leak down tests. However, regardless of getting the percentage right, I wasn't expecting accuracy with the cheap gauge, but more so being able to identify where the leak's actually coming from. I will just set it again though. So why does it go that far? I'm going to set it to, on the pressure, I'm going to run 50 psi. So we've got 50 psi going through the system, and we'll see if we can hear coming out of that exhaust a bit better. Yeah, that's significantly louder. Doesn't, yeah, that's weird. But you can hear it here. So it's definitely leaking out of there, which means exhaust valve. One thing I'm just going to do, I'm going to turn the engine over one more rotation. I'll just let this back down again. I'm going to turn the engine over one more rotation, just check it on the next top dead center cycle, just in case I've got it at a point where there's overlap on the exhaust valve, which is something I read about. Just give me 2 seconds. Hopefully that is a good enough angle. Take that out again. I've only been turning the engine over clockwise. Sounds like a fitting was leaking. Quality equipment. Okay, so if we put that, okay, that's just on the top of the piston, and we'll turn the engine over again. Okay, so screwdriver's gone down. I'm just going to hold it because I don't want to drop the screwdriver and then it'd be on a funny angle against the piston. Oh, that was the piston coming back up. And I've just gone a little bit past top dead center there. I'm just going to crank it back a degree. Okay, that is pretty damn close to top dead center. Okay, again, I'm just going to set the ratchet up so I can watch it if the air pressure does start to turn it over. Let's put the quality tester back in. I'll just do a little bit tighter this time because I didn't quite go tight enough, it would seem. Right. And again, we'll set it at, yeah, this gauge is no good. I'm going to set it there. So we just passed the screw, that's our solid point. Feed the air in. And you can see we've got a fair bit of leak down based off where that needle was before. And I can hear it flowing. I'm just going to lean over. Okay, it's coming out of the... Interesting. It seems to be coming out of the spark plug hole more. I'm going to go over to the other side, guys. So maybe we weren't at the proper cycle. I've also just noticed there's a big hole in the rocker cover. So when I was blocking that off, the oil cap off before, that wouldn't have been right. Oh, that sucks. Well, if I close the cap off, so that's the oil cap closed. Now, I'd say that is the stupid thing's not sealing. Oh man. The reason I went with this leak down tester was price, because it was sub 50, where it was about $200 for the next cheapest one, which I just didn't want to spend at the moment if I could avoid it. I wonder if that O-ring's no good. Let's try seating it again. Okay. Plug her in again. Just going to move the gauge out the way. Yeah, it's definitely, the spark plug's not sealing perfectly. Shitty tools. However, exhaust doesn't seem to be venting, where we are getting, oh, that fucking compressor. Well, compressor got me again. I've basically turned this regulator down again. I'm just going to wind the pressure back in. I'm going to wind a bit more in than what we had on that second one, because when I first connected this up, the air was coming out of the exhaust valve rapidly. Okay, so it doesn't come out the exhaust valve until we wind it up closer, wind the pressure up. So that's up at 80 psi, and you can't. It's now this won't seal in the bloody cylinder head in the spark plug hole, but air is coming out of here. So it is an exhaust valve. Air is also coming out of the rocker cover. So it's rings and exhaust valve. What does that mean? Okay, so yeah, hopefully catch it on camera because that thing keeps making noise and confusing me. But right now we're running about 80 psi into the top of that cylinder. Don't forget, it did manage to get 150 on the compression test, but we're getting a little bit of air bleeding out of the rocker cover. I mean, it's minimal. Like, I can't block that off well enough for it to make a difference, but I can, and if I put the microphone there, I can just hear air coming out, but it's not bad. But the most leak is coming out of the exhaust. Hopefully you can hear that. So, yeah, that's a bit, let me know what you think. I was kind of hoping, as I said at the start of this video, that it was going to be the piston rings from not being driven, but we've checked it on 2 points of top dead center, and it's coming out of the exhaust quite heavily once you wind the pressure up a fair bit. Yeah, but like I said, also, this is the first time I've done a leak down test, so please let me know what you think. It's a bit annoying that the gauge isn't working properly on the leak down percentage. You can see there it's now at some ridiculous amount. And it won't go below 40%. So even when there's full leak down, it shows 40%. Quality gear. I'll probably do a similar test on the E92 tomorrow anyway, just to see if we can identify where the air is escaping from. But it looks like most of the air is escaping from the exhaust valve on the E90 engine, which is a little bit unfortunate because, like I said at the start, if it was the intake, I was going to do the walnut blast and try and clean up the intake valves. And if it was the piston rings that it was escaping by, I was going to try and clean them and free them up. So this probably means the head's going to have to come off this engine, but I'd love to know some input, what you guys think, and where to go from here. And yeah, basically what I want to do is get an engine working as quickly as I can and back in that E92. So even if I use parts from both engines, whatever I've got to do to get it working as quickly and cheaply as possible, and then we'll work on doing a built motor with some forged internals down the track. But yeah, for now I just want to get it back on the road and keep making videos and keep playing with the 17Ts. All right, I'm going to end it off there. I'm a bit weird about how I feel about this. I guess I need to put some thought into what it could be. But yeah, it looks like the majority of the compression issues on the E90 motor are due to the exhaust valve not sealing. Okay. All right, guys, we'll catch you on the next one. Team N54, peace.